Hello, my name is Catherine Kawahu, and this is lab number 5. Today we're going to be talking about the different locations of some of the bones, and I'm going to be pointing out to you some of the different bones throughout our body. So let's begin. So first we're going to start with our nasal bone, just right here, our nose. We have the ethmoid, and it is actually, there's a little separation in between the nose, and you'll also see it all the way in the back here where the nose ends, like it goes all the way back into the eye there. So we have the mandible, which is our lower jaw here, our zygomatic, our frontal bone, our sphenoid, which is the back of the eye, not the back of the nose compared to the ethmoid. Then we have the lacrium, lacrimal, and that is the corner of our eye right here. We have the maxilla, which is our upper jaw, and our vomer, which is right down here at the bottom of our nose. So we're going to kind of go over some of the same stuff, but we're going to look at it from a different view. So let's turn my good friend here around. Now we have the back of our head here. So we're going to see still our mandible. So that's going to be that there. We're going to have the peritoneal sides of our head, which are the two sides up here, actually. We have our occipital and our temporal, which is right here. So the peritoneal is up further up, and our occipital, or not our occipital, our temporal is right here. I'm going to move this back just a little bit better into that picture there. So now we're going to do on the side of our head here. So remember we talked about the ethmoid, which is the back of the nose. So it's all the way back into the eye, right here into the center of our nose. This is again our nasal cavity, or our nasal bone. We have the frontal lobe of our bone, or of our brain, and our skull, and again the occipital, the peritoneal, which is up on the top here, the lacrimal, which was the corner of our eye, the mandible, the maxilla, the temporal, which is right here on the side. We did the maxilla, and we have the zygomatic, which is right about here. It's right where your cheek is. All right, so that is all for our face. Next, we're gonna work on our spinal column, our vertebrae. So you're gonna start with the very first one right here. That is the atlas. We have our axis, which is number 2 right here. Next, we will go down to the cervical vertebrae. We have after that the lumbar vertebrae, which are down in the middle here. The lumbar, which are the last 6 here. Our thoracic are our middle ones, and it actually, the middle ones here for the thoracic, they attach to our thoracic cavity, which is our chest. So it attaches to the ribs, which forms our chest. So then we have the coccyx, which is our very tip here, and the sacrum right here. So now we're going to talk about our thoracic cage and our thoracic cavity. So so we have our sternum here. So this is actually the body of our sternum. Right here is the mandibular of our sternum. It connects to the clavicle bones. So then we have our true ribs, which are attached here, and we have our false ribs, which are the bottom ones here. As you can see, they don't attach. So that's why they are the false ribs, is because these ribs here, they attach to these other, like they kind of attached throughout these other this rib here, but they physically do not attach to the sternum. And then down here at the very bottom, we have our floating ribs. So the difference between these two, between the floating and between the false ribs, is see the false ribs, they do form an attachment throughout the other ribs. Like they don't attach, but they're still kind of in that same area. These ones are way off. They're not even close to touching the sternum. So these are our floating ribs down here. Now we are going to talk about our clavicle, which is our collarbone here. Then we have our humerus, which is the top bone in our arm. We have our scapula, which is our shoulder blade. And we have our ulna and our radius. So next, we are going to get into our hand and our wrist here. So there is a bone right in here, and that is the capitale, and it is right above your middle finger. You have your hamate, which is between your ring and your pinky finger here. Your lunate, which is the bottom of your palm right here, actually. Your trapezium, which is the lower part of your thumb here. The sesamoid, which is right up here in your thumb. Your scaphoid, which is between the palm and the thumb, so it's right here. And then remember the trapezium was here. Sorry about that. The trapezium is the lower part of your thumb here. The sesamoid is the bottom part of your thumb that connects to the palm. So your metacarpal is actually from the bend of your knuckles, for the bend of your finger, so right here, the last bend of your finger, so right here, to your knuckles. So it's this last bone before it actually hits your palm. Your phalanges, which are the fingers. Your trapezoid, which is under the index finger here. You have your tarquiturum, which is the side of your pinky here. And your pisiform, which is right here, right down at the bottom, right here where my middle finger is, that one there. So now we're going to talk about our hips and our lower extremities. So we have the ilium, which is the top part of our hip bone here. We have the ischemium, and then we have the pubic bone down here. We have our knee, which is the patella, so he's bending his knees for you. We have the tibia and the fibula and the femur right here. So the femur right here. And last but not least, we're going to talk about the feet. See if we can get a good picture of his feet in there. Okay. So we have the calcaneus, which is the back of your heel right there. The lateral cuneiform, which is right here on this toe here. It's in the middle part of, it's actually on the foot, but it's in the middle part of your third toe. We have our navicular, which is the middle of the foot after the big toe, right there. The phalanges, which are our toes. Our medial calcareum, which is right here. Our cubonal, which is the pinky side right here. That part right there. Our intermedial calforum, which is right after the metatarsal, right here. The metatarsal, which is the right in here, because these are our toes, so our metatarsal right in here, and the talus, which is the part of the foot that is right there. And that is it. Thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.